Josh Mitten. So I am an entrepreneur, a husband, a father, 5 kids, great privileged life, successful career, travel the world, get to do a lot of great things. And my kind of journey that led me to Joyous was there's a lot of us that live in our mind and don't even always realize maybe how much anxiety kind of controls or shifts our decisions and our perspectives on a daily basis. Maybe they don't see it this way in the medical field, but like anxiety is not that much different than like alcoholism, I feel like, or like a disease where like it really can be really controlling. It can really consume you and you're living in these like in this room that you feel like you can't escape from, but at the same time you can be very high functioning, very, very high functioning. And I've never been a huge fan of prescription drugs, to be honest, and never really explored traditional prescriptions for anxiety or various things, and just didn't really want to go that route. I think came across Joyous through, I believe it was actually a Facebook ad, and just did some reading and watched some of the reviews and testimonials of other people. And so I think I'm coming up on maybe 5 months, and it has been the single most positive impacting thing in my life to this day by far, just across the board. And it's interesting because I don't think I actually even realized how stuck I was. It's almost like you don't know what you don't know until you experience something different. And I had used anxiety, anxiousness driven, like highly functioning anxious person, to like funneled it to kind of create a lot of opportunities and a successful career and businesses and properties. But then what would find is like moments in my life where I wanted the ability to turn that off and I couldn't turn it off. And so it looked like coming home, walking in the door, and that energy of like, go, 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 do, like control, this, moving, like organize, structure, create, that works maybe in the 8 to 5 business world or professional world. It doesn't work in relationships, and it doesn't work for your kids, and it doesn't work when you need the ability to just like sit and relax and just like be in the moment. And so I would come home and find myself like, hey, why is like this is messy? And like, hey, I couldn't relax. Like I couldn't just like feel good about what I had accomplished in the day. It continued into the evening and into bedtime routine with kids and dinner dates with my wife. And just like, yeah, I just didn't know how to turn, I didn't know how to turn it off. So I liked the idea of within reason, kind of the self-medicated made a lot of sense to me because there are days, I naturally am kind of, I lean more towards like great health is good nutrition, good sleep habits, good life habits, right? And use prescription drugs when absolutely necessary. And so I liked the idea that I had control of it as compared to, a lot of the traditional anxiety meds are like every day you have to take you have to take your pill, and like it's almost like you have to build up. Some of them it's like they say like 30 days, like you have to take every single day for 30 days, and then here are the list of side effects. Right? You might have this, you might have this, and like we all hear the commercials on TV, and right, and I feel like as a society we've almost become numb to like you might die, you might have a heart attack, you might have an like, and we're like, oh, that's funny, that, but then people are still taking these things, right? And so like I think it was the fact that side effects for me are I would say like slim to none, and the ability to kind of self-medicate and feel in control of that rather than someone telling me, hey, you have to take this every day, like do not miss a day. That didn't that felt too just kind of like under the system for me, if that makes sense. And at the end of the year, like, wait a second, are the cons bigger than the pros, or the pros bigger than the, and right, and it's like like the idea of like you can't have your cake and eat it too, but like you can actually, like you can. And so that's that's always a question too when I've shared with others of they're like, okay, so like what's the catch? Like what's the come down? Or like when do you recover? And I'm like, no, 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 no. Like, no come down, no recover, like fully functioning, feel great. Like, yeah, almost like too good to be true. So I have found that splitting it throughout the day is ideal for me 80% of the time. 80% of the time. um, that it removes me from that room of anxiety and but keeps me still in a really high level processing emotionally, critical thinking, decision making from businesses, relationships, emotional, that I'm not gone, you know. You can take a little too much and you kind of get to a place you can get to a place where you feel great, but you wouldn't necessarily want to put yourself in situations where you're making critical decisions for organizations or companies or other people's lives, right? But I have found splitting it up into like 3 to 5 kind of baby bites per day is just removes me from the room that I don't want to be in, but keeps me in a really high functioning place. Yeah, so since 4 or 5 months ago, that really started to shift, and it was subtle in the beginning, and it was funny because like I would go to my wife and I would be like, "Hey, I'm not trying to like fish for anything, but like, am I different? Like I feel like I'm like this same situation where normally I would maybe be reactive or kind of like you could feel tension in the air. There was just a peace. There was like a calm. I brought a different energy to the room or to the situation or to the conversation. She would be like, "Yeah, I didn't want to bring it up because I didn't want you to feel like weird, right? Or it'll be like I didn't know how to handle it, right? Like, hey, Josh, you're totally different. Like I didn't know how you were gonna take that." And so people started coming to me and being like, Josh, like you just have a different peace and like calmness and like presence that we haven't felt. Like what's going on? Yeah, so it's one thing to like feel it inside and know something is being settled and like your mind is calm and you're living in a better place like inside yourself, but then to have other people from the outside unprompted that are coming and being like, hey, what are you doing, like what is like what's going on, because there's a tangible difference, and it's not just like a calmness. It's like for my kids it's a calmness, it's a stability, like a leadership, like a presence. In work it's actually brought like a new level of creativity that I wasn't expecting. And then in my marriage, it's brought healing to conversations and to situations that would normally trigger like a trauma response, that she's waiting for me to kind of be like the normal, like it gets elevated and it's just not there. Like it's not there. So yeah, those are probably like some of the most tangible ways that I could share and explain how Joyous has drastically positively impacted not just my life, but the people around me. Like, so I travel a decent amount for work. I travel a decent amount for cycling. So like road bikes. Like, I'm not a professional, but I travel around the country for different events for the weekend, just kind of for fun and keeps me young and in shape and whatnot. But I found that I started having these conversations with people that I would meet. It would kind of go from, hey, where are you from? What do you do? To like life to I don't know. I would just often find somehow landing on this conversation of not joyous or not ketamine per se, but just like, hey, like, are you really enjoying and experiencing life, and just kind of like, where are you at, and or like, what are you struggling with? And what shocked me is anytime I used the word ketamine, it instantly create like it was like I said Molly, or I said ecstasy, or I said met the guy in the street in the corner at 2 a.m., right? And so I feel like there's just this stigma that really needs, like, there's a gap, and it needs to get closed because there's so many people quietly struggling, I think, with this. And it's not the obvious ones, right? The obvious ones are always obvious because they're the loudest, but it's the people who are, again, like the high functioning, like you look at their life and they're like, they're doing great, right? They look great, they're doing great, they're functioning, like great career, kids or no kids, single, not single, but internally there's a lot going on, I think. And I feel like there's just so many people that this could help. And the interactions that I've had and conversations, it's made me just realize, one, how much it's needed, and two, how big and strong the stigma still is around the word ketamine. And we need to change that. One out of every three are like, back in college, or 5 years ago, I tried that once, and like, no, I was like, and I'm like, no, 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 no. Like, we're talking about two completely different things. And but no, but like, I feel like the testimonies are always, like, testimonies are life changing. The power of testimonies are huge. And I know at least five people, it may be actually closer to 10, that from my conversations and my sharing of my story are now currently or in process of becoming patients. So I think it's just, there's a level of like organic, right? That it's going to take, paired with like marketing, obviously, right, is important. But at the same time, it's like the people to people and the power of testimonies. I think that hopefully over time is going to shift the view and perspective of the drug and what it can do and how it can be helpful. I mean, the list is big. So I've had the most meaningful thoughts and interactions and emotional conversations with my children. That's one, really meeting them where they're at and in their world of, I have five children from the age of 8 to 18, one in college. And so it's a wide spread of school and drama and social media and bullying and career and dreams, but just really being able to kind of, you know, avatar, like step into their world, what their little mini space, and sit with them and relate to them. Um, that has been, hands down, I would say I was never able to do that previously, and I don't know why. My relationship with my wife, we have been able to process previous trauma events in our relationship in a calm, positive, loving way that 3 years of therapy, including intensives. We flew to San Francisco for 4 days and met with a therapist. to work through this one specific event, I would say we accomplished nothing. And since we've without a therapist have created more positive, huge. And then in work, my profession, I mean, I have teams. I own, we have three companies: a construction company, a property management company, and then we own a lot of Airbnb rental properties. And so we have a lot of, I interact with a lot of different people in a lot of different capacities throughout the week. And we've set new like company policies as far as like meeting with each individual employee, asking them what their goals are for the year, emotionally, financially, physically, brainstorming sessions, just like creativity for our businesses that are people oriented thoughts and like, relationship oriented initiatives that were just never like it was like honestly it's almost like an additional area of my mind was opened up. My wife calls me Josh 2.0. Like that's probably like that's the mic drop. Like that's like we'll leave it like Josh 2.0. It's really just elevated. Like I could go on and give you examples probably in any area of my life where Joyous has positively impacted me and the people around me. It's at least 100 people between our organizations and then even friends and then family. It's easily in a 72-hour period, you're one patient, I am touching at least 100 people that could come on and that could speak and could say, this is who Josh was, and he was a great guy, right? Like I wasn't a yeller, I wasn't a screamer, I wasn't a hitter, I wasn't a thrower, right? So I'm not like this isn't like, right, obviously Josh, like you needed improvement, right? Like no, this is like highly functioning, great life, great, everything's great. But on the inside, I'm like, I'm not doing okay. But I didn't even realize it, right? I didn't completely realize it until it's like when your eyes are open and you see things differently. And that's really what's happened.